This is Pete Delatorre. I am the CEO of Camacol Doral, and welcome to another edition of Camacol Talk. Today's program is brought to you by City Place Doral, the City of Doral, Baptist Health South Florida, and a long-running partner of Camacol, Career Source South Florida. Today, we're going to focus on tourism and hospitality in Miami-Dade County. Our special guest is David Whitaker. He is the president and the CEO of the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau, the GMCVB. Let's sit back and watch that conversation, which is very, very exciting, my friends. Okay, everybody, with us now on Camacol Talk is the new leader of tourism for Miami-Dade County, Mr. David Whitaker with the GMCVB. What is going on, brother?
Pete, great to have you with me and great for you to invite me to do this. Thank you so much. Gracias to your partners. Delighted to be with you.
Listen, I know that you've had a interesting first year. It's not complete yet, but this has to have been a great opportunity and a moment of gratitude for you, because I know that you've had some history with the GMCVB in the past, and to be asked to come in and be the new Mr. Miami. I always call Bill Talbert Mr. Miami. Tell us a little bit about that opportunity and what it's been like for you personally the last few months.
Well, Pete, a couple of things. One is, thank you. Right away when I first came back, you reached out to me, and you've been a great partner. So I'm super impressed with what you're doing in Doral and the partnership with Camacol. So thank you for being such a great partner. I know how close you were with Bill, and how close you continue to be with Rolando Aedo, our Chief Operating Officer, who's still very, very much a big part of our plan moving forward. For those on this call who don't know me that well, I did have an opportunity to be here in the past. I was quite young then, 1990 to 2007, was part of the GMCVB team. Doral is very different. Miami, quite frankly, very different today than during those formative years when a lot of exciting things were happening as they are today. But and in 2007, I left, had the privilege of going to Toronto. I became the president and CEO of the tourism organization there, Tourism Toronto. And again, Pete, it was a great learning experience. Quite frankly, being outside of the country, living in another country, even though it's Canada, and Buffalo's right there, and they're watching American television, it's still a different country. And the way I was received and accepted there was wonderful, but it is an interesting context for those who are not necessarily born and raised in the United States, or born and raised in Florida or South Florida, to then be indoctrinated into that. And so it was a personal and professional learning experience. 8 years there, especially on the international stage. And then for the last 5 years, president of the organization in Chicago. And again, great learning experience for me. Chicago is a rather large city, of course, has a major, and I'll talk more about this with you, a major convention, McCormick Place, the largest convention center in North America. In fact, that's one of the big appeals for coming back in terms of the expansion and now the newly reimagined Miami Beach Convention Center, which is a convention center for the entire community, not just Miami Beach.
Absolutely.
So those were some great learning experiences. But again, my 17 years here as part of the GMCVB in the past. 5 years prior to that, I was at the United Way of Miami-Dade County, a wonderful organization. I learned a lot about community service. So for me, this was a homecoming. And people, and I'm going to beat you to it, Pete. Everybody asks me, what's different today than when you left 15 years ago?
What, it's changed in 15 years?
Well, it's evolved for sure, right? Some things haven't changed, but the thing that has evolved is just the breadth and width. And Doral is the perfect example of it, right? I mean, the Doral today, and there's a lot of people involved in the development and expansion of Doral. They deserve all the credit. Whether it's Armando himself, the Codina family, or the leadership, the political leadership, and all the industrial growth. But we would joke that you used to go to Doral to buy your bathroom fixtures, or you're looking for tile
in the tile district. Yeah,
and now, of course, Doral is what it is. Ironically, it has the third largest number of hotel rooms in our region, if you will, in terms of Miami Beach and downtown.
It's slightly over 30 hotels, I think, as we speak today.
And so, our job is to help
Yeah.
them and help you keep those hotels full.
Yep.
And there's some leisure visitors in there, but there's also a big business component. And again, Doral is exploding. And it's a great example of a live, work, play, dare I say, visit destination. And that's the secret sauce. And Camacol is right at the forefront of that, as we want to be as well. But it's really wonderful to be home.
Well, what Doral is fast becoming, which let's go back 15 years, a entertainment destination in
Yes.
terms of shops and restaurants and music and nightclubs. I always say, and shopping, obviously, forever. The only thing we're missing is the salt water from the ocean, which you guys can provide a little bit farther east. But with the 836 there, during non peak hours of traffic, we can get to the beach in 15, 20 minutes. So it's really good in that sense there. But yeah, I really am and very, very grateful and what the GMCVB has done with Doral, but I think more exciting what we want to do moving forward. Because as you just mentioned right now, the third highest number of hotel rooms in the county. It has been for many, many years, and it's, I think, really the root of Doral and in the airport area has been the international side. The 4,000 out of the 12,000 business Doral are in that sector. So that's a lot there. And when you visit with Orlando, we talked a little bit about what we're going to be doing down the road as Camacol to really emphasize that and grow it some more. Going back to Miami in general, Miami-Dade County, and obviously, we're still feeling the effects of the pandemic. It hasn't totally gone away. It has gotten so much better. The cruise industry was hit hard. Hospitality, restaurants, tourism attractions, all of that was just decimated. Yet, in all of that, the heart continued to beat and now is beating greater than ever. Can you tell us a little bit about what's going on in those areas, the cruise industry, just tourism in general, at this point, 2 years after all of this started with COVID?
Well, let's start kind of big picture, right, in terms of the numbers. You nailed it. In fact, when we look back now at the calendar year of 2021, Miami-Dade County, Greater Miami and Miami Beach, we had actually the highest percentage of recovery from occupancy demand points and average daily rate prior to COVID 2019 to the end of last year. The number one highest growth in average daily rate, thus revenue generated per room, which developers and owners understand, of course. It's a money-making business, right? The more money you make, the more people you can employ and the more economic impact for the community you serve. And so Miami-Dade County was the number one destination in the world. Second was Dubai in terms of recovery. And it's all about the growth. Thankfully, we were able to replace all those canceled conventions, all that lost business travel with additional leisure visitors. It's Florida, of course, and it's South Florida, of course, and it's weather. Coming from Chicago, there's certain few months of the year where it's just really discouraging when it's bitterly cold. And so we had the advantage of weather. We had the advantage of Florida, but it's also a great testament to the brand respect of the word Miami, the word Miami Beach, the word, LeBron James, right? When he took that contract, I'm taking my talents to South Beach.
By the way, I never was able to find the arena in South Beach when he said that.
Right,
it took me a long time. No, I'm kidding.
And that's the brand, right?
Yeah.
And just like, just like Soho and just like West Hollywood or, the Bourbon District, it knows no boundaries in these cities. It's for everyone. And it's for the entire region to benefit from. But back to your point, where you then want to find that great restaurant, that great night spot, that music venue. And what we also know is that leisure visitors want to do what locals are doing. And so almost always, and Wynwood is probably the most recent example of that. Wynwood first became popular with locals, and those warehouse districts became nightclubs and restaurants, and all the locals were going there. All the trendy folks were going there. And of course, then that's where the visitors want to go. And so there's a a symbiotic relationship there. But that leisure visitor that we are receiving now, there's a cliff there possibly, because now as things open up, as people can now go back to the Caribbean, as they can go back to Canada, go back to Mexico, travel across to Europe again.
Right.
We're going to have competition that we didn't have for the last 12, 18 months. And so,
Yep.
and ultimately, we need to restore the business travel, which is so important, again, important for Doral hotels, but also important for the entire region. And so now businesses, and you know this from your own interaction and your membership, different companies have different guidelines and protocols about business travel in general, attending conferences, events, or traveling to external locations. But it's all coming back slowly. We are hosting we just had a very successful first quarter at the Miami Beach Convention Center. Great attendance from a couple of medical shows, of course, the boat show. We've got a huge Bitcoin conference coming up in May, over 35,000, the majority of those out-of-town visitors. And that whole fintech, which again, Doral is so perfectly positioned, and some of the leadership in Doral that's really leading the way in that whole fintech, cryptocurrency, because as that business evolves, the meetings and the events and the trade shows and the conferences around that business technology will evolve as well. And we've hosted several major technology conventions, large and small. And your membership, by the way, in Doral, we would love to invite them if they're ever interested, and maybe they can reach out to you and then reach out to us. We'd love to have a conversation with them about maybe it's a business conference or a convention that they attend routinely outside of this region that we could possibly talk about hosting. We'll do all the heavy lifting. We just want our business leadership, again, especially in Doral, to consider, at least have a conversation about inviting their affiliation, their fellow board members or their fellow tech companies to come convene. Like I said, whether it's in a conference room in Doral or like some of the large meetings we're hosting at the Miami Beach Convention Center. And we'd love to have that conversation as we evolve and move forward.
We have a tradition at Camacol for years called the Hemispheric Congress. And obviously, the way that it was handled prior to COVID, it was stalled for a little bit. But we're planning a huge event this year in September, and it will be at the Miami Beach Convention Center. So this is big. We're excited. I've been on to be invited to be on a steering committee for this event. So big things are coming down the road, and I see what you're saying in terms of technology. I mean, you look at the mayor of Miami, what he's doing with everything to do with crypto and blockchain and fintech and what's coming up now in April, and Emerge Americas is coming back. So April, May is going to be all about technology in Miami-Dade County, and that drives the economy. It fills the hotel rooms, right? And it brings tourists, and the restaurants get business. Real quick about the restaurants and others that are still fighting the labor shortage. What are you hearing from the restaurants, the hotels that are still fighting that battle?
Well, it's a battle, and we still are far from being optimum in terms of the number of people welcoming them back. In fact, it's holding some of our hotels back because they can't have every floor open or every room occupied. They simply don't have service staff to serve those rooms. So it's still a bit of a challenge. Transportation is a big part of that, Pete. In fact, I'd love to have more dialogue with you and Camacol about how we can help workers and employees get to their place of work efficiently. Because that's a big, as we get more, it's a chicken or egg, but as we get more busy and traffic becomes a real issue, how we can quickly get people conveniently and efficiently to their place of work is going to be a challenge. We also want to make sure we're inclusive. And this is a new world we live in. And so inclusivity, people of all ethnic backgrounds and representation, including our brown and black people in this community. We want to make sure that we are spreading the wealth in terms of economic opportunity and inclusion.
No, and I think the GMCVB has been a champion for that. They've been in front of the line when it comes to inclusivity. The word exclusivity is not in the dialogue, but yet by being inclusive, everybody feels like they have an exclusive opportunity.
Sure.
And I think that's what resonates very loudly from you and Rolando and the entire team for years and years now with the GMCVB. We have about a minute left, David, and any final thoughts that you'd like to share with the audience? We're still we're wrapping up the first quarter of 2022 with another 3 quarters, 9 months to go. What's on the horizon?
Well, I mean, we still are really hyper focused on this incredible new Miami Beach Convention Center. You know, $640 million renovation expansion, adding 60,000 square foot ballroom, adding 27,000 square foot event space, the Carl Fisher Clubhouse, which is a great private VIP space, the campus itself. So Miami Beach Convention Center is now one of the finest buildings in the country. We couldn't have said that 5, 7, 10 years ago.
That's right.
And so we're really hyper focused on recruiting. We need to win about anywhere from 17 to 20 new bids each year, very sales centric. And anybody in the Camacol family that attends meetings outside of the city and outside of the region, and we can talk about hosting those meetings here. We're all in on your Hemispheric Congress. Obviously, you know you have our full support. Looking forward to working with you on the steering committee. See that event not only return to its prior glory, but grow. I think you and I had a conversation with Rolando. This event can actually grow, and I look forward to helping you do that.
No, absolutely.
And what I always stress, and you can't stress this enough to all of your members who are listening, who may run a small business or especially a public facing, customer service, customer service, customer service. If you're light on staff, you have even a duplicate responsibility to make sure that I don't mind waiting if I'm being waited on properly, right? And so customer service is going to help us steer our way through perhaps labor shortages or labor challenges. And so we simply have to have a major commitment. And I know Camacol helps play a role there in that space as well, about making sure customer service is a priority, because we want to welcome everyone. We want them to understand this amazing destination they're in, wayfinding where they need to be, where they can be, and making sure they have a great experience when they're in our establishments.
You know, customer service is, I think, is assumed, it's expected by anyone that goes to a restaurant or is served in a hotel, whatever it might be. Customer service is expected, good customer service. So that can't be a bonus thing that everybody's thinking about. That has got to be ingrained in the DNA of an organization, all those people, that customer service is that's where it all starts and ends. And if you're running short and you're a little bit delayed, if the service is good, the environment is good, people will appreciate that, as opposed to trying to find out what's going wrong in their experience there. So, David, how can the viewers and the listeners find out more about the GMCVB?
Well, of course, we are very proud of our website, which features, by the way, our members who are mostly in the hospitality space, our restaurants, our hotels, our venues, the suppliers and providers. Of course, Greater Miami and MiamiBeach.com or GMCVB.com. They all go to that amazing website. We want to make sure that Doral is prominently featured in our website. We think it is, but we're always evolving and getting better. Pete, you'll always give us great guidance with your colleagues as well about making sure that we're accurately promoting this amazing destination we love called Doral.
My friend, thank you so much for being a part of this program. You and I are due for further conversations in person and on this show as well. So my regards to everyone on the team, and just enjoy this weather, enjoy this time of year. There's a lot going on.
Well, thank you for having me. You've been a great partner of the Bureau. That will continue in my support, and we look forward for great things moving forward. God bless everyone on the call.
Same to you, my friend. You take care. Bye-bye.
Gracias.
Gracias. Okay, everyone, you've gotten an update on what's happening with tourism here in Miami-Dade County. Very, very good news, especially as we have gotten through this COVID thing. We're still dealing with it, but much, much brighter news in terms of our cruise industry and so much more that's going on. Thank you for being part of this program. Again, we do this every Friday at 11 a.m. You can watch it on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. I'm going to ask you to follow us on all of our social media platforms and reach out to us and connect with us. Let us know what's going on with you. We're very interested in helping you grow your business to that next level. So thank you very much. You take care of yourself. Have a fantastic weekend, and God bless.